What is happening, Bonerd family? Holy crap! I feel like it's been a second since me and AJ have been just sitting here talking and literally just scraping rust off ourselves in my voice, especially. I just went for a first time run, 3 mile run in a long time. So my lung was that thunder?
Yeah.
Oh my
Dude,
gosh!
God's angry at us for not recording for so long,
Are you
apparently.
safe?
That made my butthole pucker up. I'm not gonna lie, fam.
Dude.
That was real close.
That was scary. Is it just pouring down rain in Florida right now or something?
That's exactly what's going on. My pool is probably a pond at this point, but
Jeez.
yeah, we're good. Still got internet. We're all right. We're all right.
That was crazy. Meanwhile, it's 100 degrees sunny right here in Utah, so we need some rain. But I mean, that's nothing but a crack to get into it. So we'll kind of go through what's been happening the last few weeks, what AJ's been messing with, been showing, gave me a little sneak peek, and we'll just start right there. I don't know, jump right into what you've been messing with at TAC and what you talked to and how you've been.
Sounds good, dude. Yeah, I know. It feels like we haven't talked in a while, but which is very unlike us. But yeah, man, went to PA Total Archery Challenge. Got to meet up with some people that usually we only get to communicate with online. So got to shoot with Isaac Senior and Junior, Alaman over at Black Rifle Coffee, and Cam over there. So I got to actually shoot with them all weekend. PA was like a for anyone who hasn't shot that TAC, it was a giant shoot, like super busy. I think the TAC organizers said that it was actually bigger than their Utah event last year, which is nuts.
Really?
I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's other than Vermont, which is a little bit more secluded. Like that's kind of the East Coast TAC event. So it was crazy busy. A lot of people on the mountain. Yeah, it was cool. Got to shoot with Ryan Haynes from One Shot Outdoors on Friday. We did the Rocky Mountain Elk course with him and another guy from Bushnell. It was cool. The guys from Easton, Craig and Dylan, who's one of the engineers, we're gonna have to have those guys on the podcast for sure. But I've known those guys for a couple years, so it was good shooting with them. And I was really hoping to be able to sneak my new bow on the course, but I kept running into people who were like talking to me about bows and stuff, as I love. Actually, we had a couple of people comment about the podcast. So thank you for those of you that like stopped me and said you let me know you've been enjoying the podcast. It's like super humbling for Braxton. But yeah, I had this brand new PSE Omen, which by the time you guys are watching this will be out. I've had this thing for a couple of weeks now, but this is the brand new bow from PSE. I was really hoping to sneak it on the course. I was actually just gonna like tape over it and bring it on there. But I did not want to be the first one to have this thing leak. Although, for anyone who's been paying attention, it's like the worst kept secret on the internet. It's been making its rounds through all the forums and social pages. But super exciting bow. It's the successor to the Expedite, which those of you guys that know me, that was my favorite bow of all time. And this is a more than worthy successor. 356 feet per second IBO speed. Comes in the E2 or the S2 cam. I'm running it with the S2 cam. You can get this thing in I'm running this in the E2 cam and the S2 cam. It goes all the way down to 24 and a half inches. So I was talking to Chris Cook from the Ranch Julian. She got a chance to shoot this at PSE headquarters, and I think this thing's gonna be a phenomenal shooter for not just like medium to shorter draw length shooters, but everyone in between. Ryan Haynes, he's a 30-inch draw length, got to shoot this. Just super impressed. Like freaky quiet. I'll be honest. When I pulled this thing out of the box, I figured like, oh, they just shortened up the brace height on the XF33 to make it a little faster. But for whatever reason, and talking to the guys at PSE, they said it has to do with the geometry of the riser and the way that these limbs are positioned, and just the way they pull back and the way this cam cycles in the limbs for this year. But this is the smoothest bow that they've got. It's the fastest, quietest, and smoothest bow in their lineup right now. 33 inches axle to axle, 5.5 inch brace height, and it's just kind of that sweet spot for like an all-around bow that you can do everything with. So I'm sure the brace height will scare some people that are like longer draw shooters, but for me, that's everything that I need out of a bow. It's really.
What did you say that brace height was?
5.5 inches.
Jeez.
And Yeah, so, and it feels, I don't know if it's, the guys at PSE were saying that the way they designed the riser and the limbs, the way they deflect, they're running the wider limb pockets this year. But the way this thing tracks at full draw, it feels much sturdier, much more stable, even than my Expedite did. And anybody who shot those Expedites knows, like, it was a super forgiving bow for a 5.5-inch brace height bow. Not even for just in general. I think the combination, like, I'm only at 28.5-inch draw length. So for me, like, I like having the longer bows, the 32, 33-inch bows, even like 34. But it seems like on most companies will drop or increase the brace height to like 6.5, 7 inches with those longer axle to axle, which just eats away a lot of speed. And I don't need that much forgiveness. I can get away with this brace height. But yeah, it's cranking. I'm shooting 465 grain arrows, 28.5-inch draw length, 70 pounds, and I'm getting 289 out of it. So pretty 289, 290, pretty consistently. So.
Have you shot it to further distances?
Yeah, so I was shooting out. What was that? I think I was maybe at 90 or 100 at my local range one day. So I haven't gotten it to, and it was, now granted, I've only had the thing set up for like 2 weeks. But it was grouping, right where my Expedite was when I had that thing. I mean, my setup pretty much, for those that saw my last bow, it mirrors my Expedite setup. The one thing I did go with, which I want to talk to you about, Brax, because I know you've got the Epsilon. They did thread this thing so it can run either the Epsilon from Hamskea or the Integrates. I didn't go with the Epsilon. I went with, this is the new Q80 R2, so it's like $80 cheaper than either the high-end Integrate or the Epsilon, but because they got rid of the micro adjust. But what they have is, the reason I wanted to try this was, one, I cheaped out. But two, when you loosen up these screws, Q80 has it under constant tension. So what's cool is, like, you can just loosen up your screws and like push the thing over, and it's fighting against you a little bit. So it's not like sliding back and forth. So it's actually really easy to adjust, and it's nice and tiny.
That's kind of nice.
But yeah, it is kind of nice. The elevation was a little awkward because like the finish is kind of rough, so you're sort of fighting that a little. But all in all, like, for small little package for a rest, like, hard to beat that.
No, that's way nice.
Yeah, super cool.
Did you break a ton of arrows at TAC?
I didn't break a ton of arrows. We gotta have the guys from Nexus on here. I was able to. The ground was pretty soft too, but I was able to recover the arrows that I missed. I drove to PA, and before I left, my wife was like, "Hey, your bow fell over, just so you know." And I didn't think anything of it. And then first target on the course, like, I didn't go to the practice range, nothing. 60-yard target. I'm shooting with Ryan Haynes for the first time. I send one a good foot to the right, like, I just knocked my whole windage bar over on the prototype Arcos. I was messing around with some settings, I guess, and I left something loose, and that thing just was pushed all the way to the one side. So yeah, but I sorted that out, and I was good to go after that. But I probably lost 3-4 arrows and shooting 3 different courses, so I was pretty happy with how I was shooting.
That's pretty good.
There was a couple more misses and recovers, but yeah, I'll take that,
Oh, for sure. I don't even have a setup for TAC yet, and it's in 2 weeks, so I need to find some arrows to go buy them and shoot them. Get it dialed in.
You've had like no time to get practice in, huh?
No. When the draw results came out for Utah and I found out I had the Bison tag, I had a solid 2 weeks that I was still working a lot, but I didn't have too much going on, and the weather was decent. Where I'm at right now, it's just windy every day, all day, and so you can go shoot, but you can't get past 30 yards without your arrows just being... It's terrible. Anyway, so yeah, I got about 2 solid weeks.
Through your Bison, you gotta walk me through that Bison bow that you set up, because that thing looks ridiculous.
Yeah, let me grab it right here real quick. Give me 1 sec. So I mean, nothing too crazy. Just the RX-7 Ultra Epsilon with obviously dialed Arxos, and it's pretty clean and it's super quiet, and it's not shooting super fast because I do have a heavy arrow. Right now I've been shooting. It's these. It's by a company named Vector. They're the HMR, so they're their older arrow that they've had. They just sent me the ZMRs, which they sent to my old house, so I had to go down to St. George and grab them. So I haven't shot those yet. They're still sitting in my truck, but I think they're coming in around like 580 grains, somewhere around there. So it's going to be... Yeah, exactly. And there's a couple things that they're working on. I'm not sure if I can disclose yet, but something that kind of goes like at the front of the arrow, that like sharp thing, you know? I mean, that one
I was gonna
that
ask
one
you what
thing.
you're gonna top those things with.
And it's if it's not that, it might be the iron will setup that I'll probably go with. Some two blade, something probably 125, 150 grain head with a little bit of an extra outsert on the outside. That's kind of what I have here. That's all on their HMR setups that they have. It shoots really good. The first time I shot it, it was not tuned to my bow because I'm pretty sure I was underspined. Shooting, what was it first? It was an Easton Axis. I think I had a 340.
You're running 80 pounds, right, with that setup too?
Yeah, 80 pounds at 29-inch draw. I think I'm at like 312 feet a second with a 480 grain arrow. I haven't chronoed it with the heavier arrows, nor do I really care. I just need to know that I can shoot 70 yards or closer and destroy a buffalo. So it's going to be quite the freaking hunt. I've been messaging people that have done that hunt before, and they're like, it's a cool hunt, but it is by far the hardest hunt I have ever done. So I'm excited. That's one reason why I signed up for a marathon, to get my butt into shape, so that way I can actually hike and keep up with where those bison are, because apparently they're like 11,000 feet. So it's going to be quite the hunt. I've got a mule deer tag just right here in the backyard, basically. And so we'll give that a shot. Never hunted it before, never even seen a deer on it before. So I'm going to drive up probably the next couple weeks, just sit in glass in the mornings and evenings and see what I can find. But I have not been able to get out and shoot like I want to. Hopefully over the next couple weeks, I'll actually have some time. When the baby comes and I got a couple weeks off, you bet I'll be out there doing some shooting and stuff. And that's when TAC is supposed to be here. So we'll have baby and TAC at the same time. So we'll see if I really, truly do make it out there. But I hope I can.
There you go.
But
and you're running the Epsilon on the new rig too, right?
What was that? Sorry.
You're running the Hamsky, the Epsilon on the new rig?
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I've tried to figure out a way to like explain it, other than like take the, what was it? The Hamsky. Which one do I have on the other bow?
Was their super beefy one.
The Trinity. It's kind of just a whole new animal. It sits way better. It's quieter, and I feel like it's so much easier to adjust because you're not adjusting this giant car sitting on the side of your bow. Like, this thing is just sleek. It's like literally is tiny. It's mounted to the outside of the bow, and you can't even I don't know. It's literally, it's a game changer and super accurate. It's very consistent. And the only thing, let's see, I was under the impression that it could clip onto the pick rail on the back for the Hoyts.
Yeah, it's got its own.
Okay, because I took it completely apart, and I'm very surprised I was able to put all the pieces back together. But a trial run with it and couldn't get it back on. So
Yeah, so like on these bows, so Hamsky, I guess what they did was because QAD's got theirs patented to integrate. So I don't know if that means that, and I'm sure somebody listening knows the specifics, but I don't know if that means the licensing to that is then placed on the companies, i.e., us, or not. But I know that Hamsky said that like their integrate system, or not their integrate, their core lock system, I think they're calling it for the Epsilon. It's that little, there's like a little dovetail that just screws onto the back. So like the Omen's got 2 tapped holes, so you just screw Hamsky's dovetail onto the back, and then that's their integrate system basically. So they said that they don't have that licensed or patent, or they're releasing the license for it, whatever that means. So I think that means that like other companies, if they want to create their own Hamsky style core lock system to piggyback off of their rail, they can do that. So I would guess that, I mean, it's just 2 holes tapped to the back of this riser. So not to diminish everything PSE did, but or everything Hamsky did, but I'd imagine all of the bows for 2023 will have that core lock option also, because I'd be surprised if more. I'm sure the only reason more companies didn't jump on the integrate is because of the patents. But
yeah. As soon as you start patenting stuff, things just get more and more expensive. It's just
and you get it
crazy.
Right, because like it's the whole, like, you get it because like as a company, right, if you're the first to develop something, you want to protect it and secure it. But genius on Hamsky's part to kind of play the good guys, like no license, anybody can jump on board with this, and it's there's only so many different ways to make a compound bow. So like if Darton holds a good number of the patents that most of the bow manufacturers kind of piggyback off of. Most people don't even know that.
Yeah. And it's nice. I mean, they're only going to sell more products if more bows have the ability to do it without extra charge. So it's...
You do feel the difference, man.
You can see it both ways.
The new Matthews... Yeah. That new Matthews with... If you're running the bridge lock with, like, the dialed, or one of the similar sights with that integrate, forget it. Like, it's just... It feels so much better balanced than... bows of years past. Did I lose you, buddy? Do you think it was the lightning storm or Braxton's internet that killed
Am I back?
Oh, there you are. You're back.
I lost you.
Dude,
it's the lightning between here and there.
Internet nerds. Yeah.
Maybe I just need to get my router upstairs.
There you go. Yeah. What releases are you running, or what release are you running this year?
I might change that. But right now it's the good old True Fire chicken wing. So it's dual finger.
Okay.
Index finger, middle finger deal going on, which I kind of like it. I only use my middle finger to really pull the trigger because there's more travel, so it gives you more ability to do a slow squeeze, like pulling a rifle trigger or whatever. Because I have the worst target panic, and I've tried tension releases. I've tried everything to just get rid of it, and it'll go away temporarily, but I always find myself going back to that chicken wing, and just I feel the movement, and so I'm not punching it, but I have the ability to squeeze it versus squeeze my back, because for some stupid reason I've never been able to figure that out successfully with a trigger release. So that's just what I've had that for probably 3 years now, and it's been great. What about you?
Yeah, I went back to the wrist strap too, man. I'm running just this is a B3. I think they call it I think it says the Flex, or this is the Hawk. So yeah, it's just a super simple little release. I think it's like $120. It's like not even crazy expensive, but I kind of went full circle with the releases, like, because I've gone through bouts of target panic too. And I went dedicated silverback back tension only for a whole year, and I learned a lot from that. And then I was back to the Noctuit for a little bit, and I just found that under tension, or if I'm tired or fatigued or cold when I'm in the stand, like my hands are what tightens up first. So it just adds a whole other step to my shot process when I'm wanting to kill something, to like remember to relax my hands enough where like I can shoot more accurately, but not so much that I'm just firing my release into the back of my bow. So I bought a wrist strap for my wife when I set up her bow, and just setting her bow up and shooting with it, I was like, oh, I can do this again without becoming like a mental patient, you know. So, and I was just having a lot of fun. I bought one for myself, and you know, every now and then I'll start to get a little like punchy on it, but I can still like, I feel like I've learned enough by now where I can control myself and just slowly pull to the rear without like punching it, you know, like I used to. But I'm with you, man. Yeah, I'm back on that wrist strap bandwagon.
It's just kind of nice. You never have to hold it. It's just stuck on your wrist.
Yeah.
I've got a few like old videos on my YouTube that clear, like the camera is just right in my face, and you watch my finger just like just punch as hard as I can. Oh my gosh, the comment sections on those videos are so funny. People are like, why would anybody take advice from you? You're punching the trigger. It's like, I know, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm trying to get rid of it.
Shooting form. No, I don't
exactly
ever try to tell people how to shoot. Yeah.
No, I'll try to help you, but I'm not going to tell you that you're bad form or whatever, because I'm not. I ain't no expert by any means. So
yeah, I just do it for fun. I got a bit of a modified form also, just from weird injuries and things like that. So I never get preachy on form.
There was a podcast I was listening to. Shoot, who was it? It was on the Faru cast with Aaron Snyder and I can't even remember his freaking name. He's a famous world class archer.
Joel Turner, Shot IQ, maybe. I
can't remember. But anyway, they went over target panic and punching the trigger, and basically, Aaron was like, if you punch the trigger and you can hit the freaking target, who the heck cares? Like, if you can hit where you're aiming, why are you complaining? Like, who cares? If you're shooting 10s, just keep shooting the way you're shooting. If it works, it works. Don't try to change something up just because somebody else is coaching it. And they kept going over about, you know, like, there's so many social media experts, so to say, that will sit there and if you're not doing this, you're wrong. You're going to fail. You're not going to kill the animal, or you're not going to get the score you want in target archery, blah, 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 blah. But he's like, dude, if you can shoot the way you want to shoot and do it consistently, that's the only thing that matters. And that really like hit home to me, because I always like try to fix my bad habits. But with those bad habits, I can shoot a heck of a lot better than trying to shoot the way somebody's trying to teach me. Obviously, there's some things that are going to help me, but
for sure,
for the most part, it's my bad habits have started since I was 10 years old, and I'm probably going to keep them for the rest of my life.
Well, it's like, how deep do you go on the fundamentals, right? Because everybody's a little different. Everybody's body mechanics are a little different. The way their eyes interact with sights and things like that are a little different. So, yeah, you gotta find what works for you. And I think too, like, people will, and I'm sure you get these messages too, where like, actually we got one on, somebody sent us a DM the other day, you know, and they were like between setups, you know, and you're really like, a lot of times, like, especially like you and I have gotten messed with a lot of stuff, and I think you realize, maybe you only like have this revelation when you get to mess with enough different bow setups and try enough different things. You realize like there's not that whole much that makes a difference downrange. Like once you have like kind of your fundamentals in place, right? Like you and I could get a new bow tomorrow and we'll be shooting, you know, 90 to 95% of our ability once we have the thing tuned up. Like as long as we have like one or two key components on there, right? Like probably our release, our sight, and you know, everything else we could probably dick around with. But like when guys start like, and I love it, it's great, but like when guys start obsessing about like everything's got to be like every arrow's got to be between 1 grain and things like that, it's like, dude, you're not going to notice, man. Like, I hate to break it to you, but I'm excited to have the guys from Nexus on, because, like, I know, you know, their arrows, I was interested to see how they did attack, because they were grouping really well for me, but they, you know, they're three, you know, plus or minus 3,000 straightness, and a couple of them had just a little bit of wobble, but they were hitting everything I needed to, and they're heavy arrows.
Yeah.
And I was getting great penetration, and when I missed a target, I was able to recover the arrow, and the arrow was fine. And, you know, talking to those guys, like, those guys, a far shot for them is like 30 yards. Like, I think Nick, when I talked to him last year, he's like, mate, my sight hasn't moved from 15 meters, whatever that means, you know, but, like, like, you know, like, those guys are just savages, just getting it done. They're basically, like, their type of hunting, it's like Florida in the mountains, right, but with even deadlier creatures. It's just different, like, and I think, like, you have to take into account, like, where are you hunting, what are you hunting, are you, you know, hunting, and, like, figure out what setup works for you, and, like, where do you hit that rate of diminishing returns, unless you have, like, the budget to run whatever you want, and then have fun with it.
Yeah, and I get it. It's fun to tinker and mess with things and try to perfect things as much as possible, but for those of you guys that can't necessarily afford or have the time to tinker with every freaking setup, because one, it takes time, two, it's a buttload of money, and you don't need it, especially if you're just jumping into archery. And I mean, how many of the influencers are out there telling you X, Y, Z? If you don't do these 1, 2, 3, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to kill these animals. Like, no, literally, I have a bow. It's somewhere in here. It's a China bow, literally made in China. You can buy it on Amazon for like $250, and that comes with the bow, the arrows, the release, the sight, the rest, literally everything. It can go from 5 pounds to, I think it was 75 pounds. And so I'm going to do a video on that to just show that literally for $250, you can still go shoot something within probably 60, 70 yards. And nothing has to be perfect. You can probably shoot a .006 arrow and still be totally fine. And we get caught up in all these high-end stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm the idiot that still buys all the high-end crap. But I will preach it till the day I die that you don't need it. I mean, this is my hobby, so I'm going to do it no matter what. But I'm still going to buy some of the cheap stuff just because I want to prove a point, basically. And, I mean, that's one of the biggest things I get.
We just talked about literally the Omen, the RX-7, and a $200 China bow. So we're, you know, we're covering everybody. But I'm with you. Like, you know, I mess with, like, we go back and forth on, like, some super Gucci stuff, and then, I mean, I tried to save some coin on the rest that I went with this year. I think the next set of arrows are probably going to be those Easton Sonics, those 6mm standard diameter shafts, like, super affordable arrow. Like, I think, you know, for people, I'm sure you get this question too, like, thinking about getting into tuning and working on your own stuff, like, arrows are a nice cheap way to do it, relatively speaking, or at least fletching your own arrows. You can order your arrows from Lancaster pre-cut, or, you know, some of these other companies where, like, they'll be pre-cut for you, and some will even have the inserts installed, and then, you know, you can fletch them up how you want. So $80 Bitzenberger jig and some glue and maybe a primer pen or some rubbing alcohol, and you can, you know, get working on your own stuff, which is super cool. But, you know, definitely, like, for bows, like, the bow you've got is better than the bow that you're saving up for, right? So, like, if you know, you want to get into it, you know, just get into it and maybe look for, like, a used bow or something. And arrows wise, like, dude, I think we both kind of preach this. Like, if you can get 24 of decent arrow, that's better than getting a dozen super Gucci arrows that you're going to be afraid to shoot, and you're just going to get panicky and not want to practice with them. I'd rather get 24 super standard arrows that I can fling and just test myself with.
Yeah, I did that. It was an awful video I did way back when, but I did Walmart arrow comparison thing. So went to Walmart and I bought the cheapest arrows they had. It was ranging from like $3 to $5 an arrow, and they flew totally fine. Like, it shot 100% the exact same as my Easton that cost me $20 an arrow. And so, like, if you don't, let's be honest, a lot of people do care about the appearance on what they're shooting what they look like, who, because some people do kind of care. I mean, when I first started, I started carrying, and I had to buy the Easton Axis, so I would save up extra so I could buy those because that's what all the cool kids were doing. Now I could literally care completely less than anything just because I do my own thing. I don't really give a crap. But starting, it was okay. I had to get a Hoyt because that was what the cool guys did. I had to shoot Easton because that's what Utah people do, and all of these like total name brands, which it was fun and all, and it was cool when people looked up to the bow I had because I had the carbon RX1. Like, wow, dude, you're so cool. And then you get some people that are like, you're an idiot. I can't believe you'd spend $2,500 on a freaking bow. But
no matter what, someone's gonna be mad at you.
Exactly. And if you buy the $200 bow, people are gonna say, "Wow, this guy's a freaking idiot." Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should just leave the RX-7 home for tack and take my Amazon bow to tack and see what happens. Just run into people like, "Is this kid a joke? Like, what the freak?"
We're gonna have to get some Bow Nerds logos for that thing for sure.
Oh, for sure. Just on the limbs. And I talked to the guy that made it, the like factory dude, the guy. I think he lives in China, and so I could probably work out a deal to deck it out in Bow Nerd stuff. That would be funny.
Everybody off. We'll just have our own line of $200 Chinese bows.
No, don't even shoot anything
and that's
else.
Another thing, like I think like the longer you start messing with stuff, like for me, like we get to meet people. So for me, it means more to like shoot companies where I know the people at, right? Like whether it's the arrows, the bows, the broadheads, and the fact of the matter is like, a lot of people talk like made in America, but they don't want to pay for the price tag. And that's just like, it's one of the unfortunate things. Like you're going to pay extra to buy made in America. I'm okay with that. But it's not in everybody's budget. So I think you got to do some of your research and like also like going back to what we said earlier, like realize like what you're using it for and where you're using it, right? Like your cheap stuff at 100 yards is probably not going to group or not tune at least as easily. You might get it to do it there like 1 out of 10 times, but it's going to take a lot more tender love and care to get it to shoot at those distances the same way as some of the high-end stuff. But, kind of like used cars, like you can get a leftover or a used bow or, what have you, like be on the lookout for stuff all the time and look on the lookout for sales and get something for, significantly cheaper than the brand new stuff. And you and I both know, like, pick companies where like they're not making drastic leaps every single year kind of deal. So But
I'm just pulling up on my phone.
But definitely get an Omen because this thing's freaking sick.
Dude, I need to go buy it.
I'm like if there's a bow in like because I know you like a lot of the Hoyts. I'm a big Hoyt fan too. I love the PSEs. To me, they're kind of similar bows. Like I feel like PSE shooters and Hoyt shooters like a similar feeling bow. They're just like slight differences. You're like 1 year versus the other as far as like one's a little quieter, one's less vibration, one's a little faster in certain draw lengths, but similar like kind of vibe to them. But dude, it's freaking it's super sweet. For me, the Expedite, like this speed bow line that they come out with every 2 years, it's just like the bow for me every freaking 2 years. I'm just super stoked with it.
That's sick. I'm just currently shopping on my local, basically Craigslist, to prove a point to show people. Like I will literally scroll through this. I know I've talked about it over and over and over, but like right there, Prime Nexus 4. What is that? A $1,500 bow, brand new, right there, $825.
Like that,
and it's what, a year old?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You literally can just go through. Ago. What was that?
I think the Nexus was a year or two ago. So that's a great bow.
Yeah. A fully set up VXR. That's a 2020, 2 years ago. Matthews, $1,200. the setup probably cost him $2,000. Like, you can go on here and buy a Hoyt Eclipse, $600. I think that's a $850 bow for like the women's line or whatever. And that, I don't know, that's what I do. That's what I've bought in half my bows.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and you gotta just pay attention to, like, the channels that that you feel comfortable buying from too, because like I know some people get sketched out with eBay and things like that. So just like and pick. Maybe you don't want to, buy used on the bow, right? But maybe you can pick up the sites, open boxes, right? Like I know Lancaster Archery, SNS, Black Ovis. Like usually they have open box sales that you can get stuff super discounted. That's where I got my my quiver. I was an open box. I think I got like $30 or $50 off of that tight spot. Outlets for clothes, like I'm signed up for every major clothing company, like their rewards programs and their outlets and sale emails, because I have a running list of like, this is what I need for next season, right? Like as soon as season ends or while I'm in the season, like I'm always making a wish list of like, I would be more comfortable, or like this is stuff like I really need, and just waiting for that sale to come up and then boom, jump on it. That's it. You just got to be paying attention, and that's why it pays to save a little too. That way you can, when stuff does come on sale, you can just jump on it right away. You don't have to then start saving up your paychecks for it.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to create a system on a website people can go to shop all the deals. Basically the budget bow hunter.
Yeah. Someone's gonna take that idea.
Yeah, they're gonna listen and be like, that's a great idea. I just respect the royalty, just hand it over to the boner. It's just a little bit,
Well, and there are guys that swap stuff out every year. I mean, I trade out a lot of stuff every year. Like, I usually sell it. I'll sell it through the Knights of the Apex page. Like, I'll do a whole yard sale, honestly, 2 or 3 times a year, and then donate some of the money. So if you're following on there, look out for that stuff. Like, but I know a bunch of guys, photographers, do that stuff a lot. Like, it's good to follow photographers because they've got to shoot content for companies, and then those companies come out with new stuff. So usually they toss some stuff to use in the content that they're creating, and then they have like 3 versions of the same thing. It doesn't pay for them to hold on to it. So like photographers are always getting rid of stuff. So a little hot tip for you out there on IG or YouTube or anything, like look out for those guys, but don't go DMing them because that's annoying. But
can I have your jacket, dude? The thing looks
nice.
Are you
using those pants anymore? Like, don't do that. That's weird.
What size of pant do you wear? I think I'm close to the same.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the sales that people throw on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like I've bought half my camo through there, and it's usually buddies of mine that I know that they're just trying to get rid of it for the next stuff that they want, and I'm just like, I don't care what the heck I wear, just give me a good deal.
Well, and that's like camo, dude. Like some people obsess about camos, and it's like if you don't care, that's another way you can save some money. Like go with solids. Usually it's like $5-10 cheaper, but you add that $5-10 up over a clothing system, and then the sales you could take advantage of. Usually, I mean you're talking about another garment at the end of it, or another $100-200 in your account at the end of the day. So yeah, all that little stuff adds up. Yeah. And I say this as somebody who spends way too much money on stuff in this industry.
Yeah, I was looking at here in Utah. There's a company called King's Camo. I wanted one of their shirts. They have some really good quality gear at like an incredible low price. Like I went into their outlet store that they have here in Utah, and it was because I'm looking for winter gear because I've never hunted winter in my entire life. So I have short sleeve shirts and some lightweight pants for any camo gear. And I went in there and just looked for the heaviest, just to sit down and glass type of stuff. And they had a full down outfit, jacket, pants that literally looked like a sleeping bag. And if you went to Sitka or Kuyu or anything or First Light, like you're paying $2,000 minimum for something like that. Maybe $1,000. Well, cheapest you'll find $1,000 for a jacket and pants, fold down. And these guys were selling it, I think it was $600 for the full set.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there thinking, all right, well, I know where I'm getting my stuff.
Well, and I think too, because like Kings, so Kings just revamped like their whole product line over the last year. I know like Everly Stock's doing that too. Kuyu does that a lot. So like that's like those outlet pages on their sites are so clutch. Like I don't think I've bought any of my Kuyu stuff full price, not because like I get anything from them, just because I'm always buying stuff off of their outlet. Yeah, it's dude. But I know a bunch of guys running the King stuff, and they freaking love it.
It's pretty sweet. I know they're dropping a new camo design come July 1st, I think. So what is that? Sunday, or no, Friday? That's this Friday, isn't it? Holy crap! It's already coming up to be July.
Yeah. Which, if you're watching this, it's probably already passed because I don't think the bow is supposed to come out till the 1st. So we're embargoed.
So it's out. Go check it out, and maybe Kings will hear this and sponsor my Bison Hunt. Send some gear.
Braxton up with some clothes for this Bison Hunt.
I'm spending way too much money for.
I actually just decided I'm flying. So I've got that Everly stock in Idaho in the middle of the month. So I'm actually flying into Salt Lake and driving up there just because it was way cheaper and easier to find a rental. So I might have to hit you up while I'm in town.
Dude, yeah, hit me up. I'm just 45 minutes south of Salt Lake. So maybe we can finally meet.
Yeah, we'll do it actual in person.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, let me know, and I can drive up there if I need.
Sweet.
But, no, that'd be sick.
Cool, man.
Well, cool. What else do we got?
Dude, I mean, I feel like this was just a good catch-up episode for everybody. BSing about sales and gear. I think we're going to have... we got a couple of guests like lined up. I think we just got to pull the trigger on who we're going to have next now. So
yes.
We'll figure that out. But yeah, man, you got that baby coming around the corner, and then you'll be home.
You're shortly after.
Yeah, I'll be right behind you in a couple of months, come November. So I know we'll have we'll probably be a little out of it, so it'll be good. Maybe we just save the guests for then. We'll let them talk because we'll probably just be brain dead by then. But,
yeah, we won't be sleeping much. At least that's what I've heard.
That's what they tell me.
So I'm just prepping for sleepless nights, but I guess it's no different than hunting season. So that's the way I'm trying to get in the mindset.
Same, but that's it.
It was like Saturday because we were staying down in St. George at my parents' house for a couple weeks, so that way my wife could have somebody to be home while I was at work, and. It was, last Saturday, so a few days ago. It was like full family reunion trip to my cabin. And since the cabin's at like 9,200 feet, something like that. And when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to sleep past like 8,800 feet or something.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to sleep there, but I woke her up at 2:30 in the morning so we could make it up there for the 6 a.m. fish. So we went fishing at 6 o'clock, made it there and had the full day and made it. I think we made it back home at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was a full 24-hour adventure to try to get crap done. She is. she looked at me before we left the cabin. It's like 11 o'clock at night. She's like, "We need to go. I'm really feeling it." And I'm like, I know, I got really bad FOMO because it's my whole family up there, and it's just like way fun. And she's like, "You pulled me out of bed at 2:30 in the morning. The least you could do is take me home." And I'm like, all right, fair enough. You're 8.5 months pregnant. I guess we can go.
Yeah. But we shot tag 2 years ago. There was a lady on the Mountain Ops course, which was... Like, keep in mind, it was a super hot year, and there was a dude that had to get, like, lifted off of that course the day before.
Was that Utah?
That was Utah, yep, at Park City at the Canyon Resort. And this lady in the group behind us was 7 months pregnant, just trekking through the mountain. It was, yeah. I was like, that is a tough woman. There's no way I'm doing that.
That is nuts. I struggled on that course that year too, just without carrying a baby.
Yeah, that was a rough one. We all looked a little worse for wear after that course. You were bushwhacking through half of it. Like
every time I saw somebody like that had just done it the day before, like, dude, that was the hardest course. I swear it was like 30 miles uphill. And my wife did it with me, and she's looking at me like
6 or 7.
Yeah, it was terrible, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I swear it. And Dudley freaking makes the knock-on course just probably just as bad, if not worse. And here in Utah, at least, just purposely makes it a bushwhack course. Just has fun with it, and he loves the struggle.
Dude, if they do the Rocky Mountain elk course, man, you got to shoot that. That was a ton of fun. It was just 15 targets, all elk targets. We said, like, I would do that all day, every day if they had an attack. Like, it was perfect.
Really?
It was fun. It was nice. I mean, all attack is fun. It's all amazing. But it was just kind of like the perfect number. It was just fun lobbing arrows at elk targets. It's a nice big target. We took a couple of shots back at like 130, 135, which, dude, I had plenty of clearance with my sight. I only had it marked out to 120, so I kind of guessed what my 135 was going to be, and I ended up hitting it in the antlers, and it broke nice. So I think, assuming I didn't just totally whiff it high, I could get my sight out to 140, like, no problem, which was pretty crazy using that bottom hand. But yeah, it was a super fun course.
Yeah, no, that sounds way fun. I love when they do the moose and the bison targets out at like 120, 150 or whatever yards, because that thing's it's a freaking 10 by 10 block sitting out in the woods, so it's just giant.
I think Duz has been putting that. He's been putting that Sasquatch out at some huckable distances too. The last couple courses, so I'm sure he'll have something fun out there.
Yeah, I think I have. I don't even remember which ones I did. I think I did the knock on and Yeti or Prime or something. I don't know. Utah sells out so fast. Yeah, you just literally click on any of them and just try to hurry and get a morning slot. Within seconds, they're all sold out. It's just it
was
sucks.
Busy, man. The PA course, when we got off, we shot early morning. I had the advantage of having a vendor's pass because I was helping out, but like by the time, so we had to shoot first thing in the morning. But then by the time we got off, like there were lines at a lot of courses, which I had never seen before. Pretty crazy, but I mean, it's good to see it blowing up as much as it is. But yeah, they're gonna have to add more events or something over the next couple of years, which is a good problem. Like, it's so cool seeing everybody out on the course, and like, it's cool seeing, like, I've mostly gone to the Western courses, so it's different seeing like Eastern guys with their Eastern setups. I saw Corey Anderson, got to meet him in person.
Nice,
but it was just cool seeing. Yeah, it was cool like seeing the different kind of like approaches everybody has, like gear wise and stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, no, that would be way fun. I would love to go to the East Coast and do some stuff out there. Just, it's a whole different ball game than out here in the West, because I don't even know how I'd explain just the Utah hump feel. I mean, it's totally different than the East, but it's fun. Both of them have their ups and their downs, their perks and stuff. But yeah, no, that'd be way fun. Or down in Texas or something would be sick. That'd be way fun.
Yeah. No, that would be.
Maybe next year when we have a little bit extra time on our hands, then
we'll bring the kids.
That's right. We'll go have a kid party. We'll just put them in a backpack and just hike around the course with the year-old.
Somebody did that. Someone grabbed me, it's like, hey, AJ, and he had his kid on his back, and like we took a picture, and I was like, this is awesome. I'm doing this with my kid next year. Like, it gave me hope. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I guarantee I'll convince the wife to do that. She's wanting to get
Perfect.
the camp trailer as well to head out to the hills and do a little bit more camping and hang out. So she wants to do that with the baby. So now I gotta save some money for a camper.
There you go. Good problems.
But yeah, it's good stuff. I just need to quit my job and do bow nerds full time.
Listen, I'm here for it. So.
Yeah, if we're gonna people stay tuned, and those people that got a little extra cash in their pockets and business or something, we're open for sponsorships. Some deals. Bring the cash. No, it's just a fun time. Just a fun time.
Yeah. Yep. Well, listen, man, speaking of families and wives, I think we probably got to get back to it. But it was good catching up, and we'll catch everybody again next week right back here. So looking forward to everything we've got going on this summer. We'll keep you guys posted on everything to come.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and catch you guys on the next one.